welcome to another up close video. So today I've got two Tonic die sets, and they're brand new sets of alphabets and numbers in like the same set together, and one of them looks like Scrabble tiles, and it's just called alphabet tiles, and it has the little number in the corner for all of the letters, and the other set looks like typewriter keys, and that one's called alphabet typewriter. And in each of the two die sets, I've sort of got them laid out weirdly because I haven't got them in the original packaging, but I just sort of wanted to show how you could keep them on their packaging, because they would come similar to this in their original packaging, or you could transfer them onto the magnetic sheets that Tonic make as well. And in both of the die sets you actually get 40 dies, because you've got the entire alphabet, you've got all of the numbers 1 to 9 plus 0 as well, and then you've got a few extra ones. So you've got a blank one, you've got an ampersand, a question mark and a hash as well, which I think is really useful. But I wanted to show you a few different ways of how you could use them, and all the samples that I have done, I've tried to just use the alphabet dies to make the main focal element, to make the background portion and stuff, rather than bringing in other Tonic dies that have come out like recently and stuff to make shape cards and things. I tried to just focus on showing you different ways of how you can actually just use the letters, and kind of like the different ways that the different looks that you can get from the letters basically. So you can use them so the letter is missing and you sort of raise it up so you get an aperture underneath. You can also cut them from two different colours and inlay the letter back into the tile. You can use them with glitter and use the tile to cut the aperture, then stick the letters back like onto double-sided adhesive underneath and add glitter to it as well. So there's lots of different ways you can use them. And another way, have I still got it here? Yeah. You can actually use just the shapes to make yourself some cool stencils to use. I haven't tried using it on the jelly plate and stuff, I just did it out of cardstock, but if you're quick with pulling things off the jelly plate, you can just make some stencils out of card and they work really nicely as well. I didn't do one with the square tiles, I was just using the circle tiles for my stencil, but you can do the exact same thing with the square ones, and you could even do just a square, or you could mix a diamond and a square, or you could just do diamonds and build a random pattern to create this kind of opened piece. And as well as using this as I've used it as a stencil to just draw the perimeter, and then scribble inside, as a stencil to spray water through to give a ghosting effect on a background. But you could also use this as a portion on your card. So for example, if you cut this smaller maybe, so you've got half circles on the side, that would make a really cool mixed media arty kind of element that you could layer onto your card as well, which I think would look really nice. So hopefully at some point I will get a chance to do some kind of video showing you that kind of you know, the way of using the waste really to make a cool layering element on your card. But I've got 6 examples to show you, and I'll just show you the dies up close first. So I've left these ones all together for a card that I've done so I can show you how I did it. But I think the way I'm going to store them is I'm using the small 6x6 medium ring binder storage things that Tonic do, where they come in a little plastic sleeve, and I'm going to use one for each of the two alphabet sets, and I'm going to have the letters on one side and the numbers and extra accents on the other side. I don't think they would all fit on one side, and I think if you had both sets and you put one on each side, I think it would get really annoying, because you'd like bend it to try and take one of these off and you might make all of the other ones fall off the other side. So I think this is the best kind of way of using them, and I thought just separating numbers and letters kind of makes sense because you can easily find which ones you're looking for then. But these are the gorgeous dies. You can see, actually let me measure this for you, they're less than an inch, so they're 2 centimetres. They're 2 centimetres square, these ones, and they all have a little like highlight mark in the top. Is it the top right? Well, when you cut it, it'll be the top left, but it looks like the top right for now. But yeah, so it'll be the top left corner. And again, if you run that through on your embossing mat, like the green mat that comes with the tangerine, that will be more prominent. Or you can just use a ball tool as well to make that more prominent. And then obviously it cuts the letter right out of the centre, and then in the bottom corner opposite the little shine marks, the bottom right corner, you get the little number. I don't think that this is accurate to Scrabble, because I think a J is 8 in Scrabble, not 5. But they've just, you know, added different numbers to the corners to make it kind of makes you think of Scrabble, really, with all the letters. One thing I didn't do, but I actually like to make Scrabble tiles into magnets, and I thought you could actually, if you cut multiple layers, say you cut 2 layers with the letter, and then maybe like 3 extra layers with just the solid piece, you could layer them all together, use a black pen to put black down into the recess of the letter, and you could actually make like 3D Scrabble pieces. You could make your own actual Scrabble game if you wanted to, or you could add a magnet on the back and make them into Scrabble magnets as well without actually using real Scrabble pieces, which I think is a cool idea. And again, you could do the same kind of thing with the typewriter keys, maybe cut the numbers or the letters out of black and then use a white pen, because that's, I think typewriters are more that kind of look with the white letter on black. But yeah, so these are all of the numbers and the letters, and the numbers, you get a number 9 and a number 6. They do actually have the same little number on their corners, these two, but the shine mark is in a different place, so they've given you both of them, you see. Like if you just had one, and obviously if you turned it up the other way, the shine mark would be at the bottom compared to all the others, and the little number would be upside down. So you do actually get a number 9 and a number 6, which is quite nice, because a lot of the time they don't give you one or the other, because you can just flip them up the other way, so it's really nice to actually get them. And then you get the plain one, an ampersand, a question mark. I really love the question marks. I've used them on one of my cards. I sort of based it around the question mark, and you also get a little hash as well. So you can do hashtags, or you can do a hash as in before a number as well, for whatever kind of style of card you're doing, really. I think they make really great focal elements for a card, also background elements, and obviously you can just spell out your sentiment and make a sentiment on your card as well, or you could use them for the numbers and stuff. On one of mine with the circle ones, I actually tried to make it look like an old-fashioned like rotodial phone, but you could actually use the square ones and make it look like more like kind of a mobile phone sort of a look, you know, with all the square numbers on there. Or you could even use the numbers and letters maybe in conjunction and try and make like an actual Scrabble type sentiment. I've done that on one of my cards just with love you, because that's like the easiest thing to do. But if you maybe if you make larger cards, or if you're more clever about it, or if you want to make a home decor piece actually in a frame, you could really personalise it for whoever you're giving it to as well, by incorporating their age or their year of birth, or you know, their first name, middle name, last name and everything. But these are the square ones, and then the circular ones are the kind of typewriter-esque kind of looking ones. I have really enjoyed working with both of them actually, and the typewriter ones, let me give you a size comparison. I think they're probably about the same size. Yeah, they're 2 centimetres diameter as well, so a nice decent size. They work nicely on larger cards and smaller cards actually, and I think with the circle ones, you could make these look like balloons as well if you wanted to. You could easily add a little string to them once you've added them to your card, and they would easily look like little balloons flying around as well. And again, you get all of the alphabets, you get all the numbers, and you get the 6 and the 9, because the shine mark and the little indent would be in different places. You can see on them they've got like a deboss shine mark and an actual sort of missing shine mark, so that would emboss when you cut it. And you also get the plain one, the ampersand, the question mark and the hash as well. And the great thing about the plain one is, obviously it's designed so that you can cut the exact same size to go behind it, to add a different colour behind it if you want to, or that you could stack them on top of each other to create a thicker element. But the the blank one is also really great for when you're trying to spell out a sentiment, for example, hello or happy. If you wanted to cut them straight into your card, like I'll show you on one of my examples, you don't have two P's or two L's. You can use the blank one to cut the space out in your card, but then you can then come back in with the L or the P afterwards and die cut it out of there. It'll make sense when I show you the card, but yeah, it's really great having that blank one in there. So yeah, these are the two die sets. You get 40 dies in each of them, which is incredible. And I've just had so much fun playing with them. The reason why I'm going to keep them in these rather than, you know, in the kind of normal packaging. Obviously I haven't got them in the normal packaging, but if I did have them in the normal packaging, I would, you know, I think I would still prefer to keep them on the magnetic sheet rather than in their packaging, because I think I'm going to use these a lot. So having them next to me and like really easy to access, you can quickly pick out the letters to make someone's name, or actually, yeah, you can also combine them with a lot of other Tonic sentiment dies, like for example the sentiment strips, the Will's Hand, or other ones as well. You can kind of mix and match the fonts together. So for example, I used Happy from the square tiles, but I used the Will's Hand Birthday to create a sentiment. Or with the sentiment strips, you can easily mix in lots of different words created with the tiles as well. So you could have, for example, you could put the scripty hello and have the word friend cut out of either of these, or you could even personalise it and have the person's name depending on how long their name is. I don't think my name would fit on a card because it's too many letters. But you know, you got to think about that as well. But let's show you the samples that I have done, and I will explain to you why birthday is still up there. So this is the first one that I'll show you, and this is a DL card. It's slightly smaller than a DL. Oh no, it is practically a DL card. So you can see here 8 of the square letters fit really nicely along, and you know, if you've got a long name like mine, which would be 9, it won't quite fit on a card very easily, and like Christmas might be a little bit of a push to fit Christmas, because that's also 9 letters. But birthday fits really nicely on a DL card, and the reason why I was leaving these all stuck together is this is how I got this look here. You see, I'd made a wacky background just with aqua flows, and I stamped on with glitter markers as well, using some of the doodly flowers from the journal stamps collection. And then to do the birthday, I got a piece of low-tack tape, and then I lined up all the tiles, obviously spelling it in the right order, with the bottom of the tape so that they would all be like perfectly straight, and then I just cut it straight out of there, and that way you get all of the perfect little apertures, and then you've got everything, you know, all die cut with all of the letters that you need. So for words like birthday, you don't have any repetition of letters, so it's really easy to do these kind of words. And then with happy, for this one, I did the same thing, and I did all of the circle letters onto there, but obviously, like I just explained, there is 2 P's in here, but you only have 1 P, so I used the blank die to cut this one out, and then after I had cut all of that out, I then took that circle that cut out of the background, and I just placed the P die over the top of it and cut it out again, because I mean, depending on the kind of card you want to do, you could just, you know, cut another one out of a different colour, but I wanted the letters to match where the colour changed in the background, and the same for these ones as well, so that's why I was doing it like that. And I wanted to show you on this one 2 different ways of using the letters really. So this one, I cut the apertures out, then I put, well, I did it behind the whole lot of this actually, I put double-sided adhesive, like one of the Craft Perfect double-sided adhesive sheets, and then I took all of the interior letters out of the circles and stuck them back into the circle die cuts, and then I added glitter to all of that. So even underneath birthday I added glitter, and then I came back in with all of the birthday letters. This time I disregarded the interior letters and I just kept the outsides, and then I used little foam pads, these ones from Tonic. Even though they're a pain to get the backs off, these tiny little ones, the 5mm square ones, they are like the perfect sizes to fit behind these. So if you have any of these in your stash from a while ago, the sizing is perfect for fitting behind these, especially when you're trying to avoid the letters as well. Although, as I was sticking these down and fiddling around with those tiny little foam pads, I did think you could have added a solid piece with glitter on behind the letters, so that you could have just added one big foam pad behind them if you didn't want to fiddle with this as well. But I quite like that shadow effect that you get where you can see down to the glitter because you've raised them up. But that's just a couple of different ways of how you can use these alphabets, whether it's the circle ones or the square ones, and obviously you can do these vice versa for each other. And also on the square ones, you obviously get the little number debossed into the corner, and all I've done here is taken a white pen and just put the nib of the white pen into it and traced it to get the number to stand out a little bit more. I think I did that on like all of them that I've used the square ones. So that is one version, that's just a DL card. Then this one, I was trying to, I just said this, didn't I, that I was trying to emulate a like a circular dial phone. It's not obviously not accurate because there's a gap on a normal phone that has a circular dial, but I wanted them all to be closer together, so I just squished them closer together. I did use a couple of extra tonic dies on this one. I used the cross stitch circles to cut a circle of vellum, and I used the scribble circles to cut a mirror card scribble that I could use as like a guide for where I was sticking these. And then for these ones, I actually paper pieced or inlaid the numbers back in. So I cut all of the numbers out of white, and then I cut all of the numbers out of mirror card as well. I kept the outsides in case I want to use them on another card too. And then what I did is I took all the white ones, discarded or like put to the side the little white numbers that were in them, and then took a larger foam pad and stuck it behind it so that the whole area where the number was then sticky. And then I just placed the silver ones back in. And then so they're slightly raised up on the card because they've got a foam pad behind them. But it's just a really quick and easy way of doing that. And then I used one of the alphabet dies that Tonic do, where you get all the different letters. And I just did Miss You, Call Me to kind of go with the telephone dial kind of a idea. I hope it kind of comes across as that. I showed it to my mum and she knew what it was straight away. So at least we're on the same wavelength. And then I did this one, which is using that waist piece that's gone over here. You can see the waist piece has got yellow and pink and orange drawn around it. So for this one, I took my Nouveau glitter markers and I just placed this in different places on the background and just traced through it. And then obviously I scribbled some more of my glitter marker onto my mat and picked it up with a paintbrush to add sparkly colour to the centre of all of the dots. But this one was where I thought about balloons, because this would really look like balloons if you've done that on the background. You could then easily draw the little triangle for the bottom of the balloon and have a string coming down as well. But this one I wanted to show you how you can mix the word tile, the letter tiles, in with previous words and stuff that Tonic have done. So this is the Will's Hand birthday die. I'm not sure how easy it is to get hold of the Will's Hand dies anymore, but I'm sure a lot of you have got them in your stash, or another birthday word that would go really nicely with these. And then for the background, I have just used the word happy 3 times, and I've stuck some of the yellow card behind the letters, the aperture letters, and then I've used a orange pen to go in the little numbers in the corners. And depending on how you want to use your little letter tiles, whether you're going to be able to see the back of it, whether you're going to be able to see under the side of it, you can cut like another 15 of the little blank squares to go behind these to fill in the colour. But you can also just cut a strip of card if you want to, and all I did was cut a strip of card that was maybe 1.5 centimetres, and then I just stuck them all on and then snipped between them. And so it was a really quick and easy way. It saves you having to cut an extra tile 15 times to stick behind them. But that's just another one. I was trying to do a bigger card. I really don't like making big cards, but I had a go at a bigger card. Basically, I made a smaller card and stuck it on a bigger card. But yeah, I think it looks quite nice. And I just used matching colours of cardstock to the glitter markers that I'd used, because that's the great thing about Tonic. All of their Craft Perfect colours match their Nouveau colours from across the range as well, so you can really get a coordinated look to your card. Then I did this one. I don't know if you can actually get this die anymore either, but this was from one of the ATC die sets that Tonic did, a little hello. I really love that hello though, I couldn't resist not using it. And then I just did friend out of the circular ones, and I actually cut them all out of white and all out of grey, and then I shadowed them to give a slightly different kind of a look as well. And then in the background, if you can kind of notice it, I laid this piece on and I took a white pen and I traced the circle, and then I just scribbled whilst the stencil was still on. You don't go out the lines then, you just scribble backwards and forwards to get that cool wacky scribbled look. And then I just obviously changed the direction of the scribble each time from circle to circle, and that gives a really nice extra sort of detail to the background of the card. And then going along with the same theme of adding an extra detail, sorry for my squeaky chair, to the background of a card, I did a Distress Oxide background using Festive Berries and Picked Raspberry. And then to give it a little bit of extra interest, I took this, laid it on top and just sprayed water through it, and then you can see a kind of ghosting effect of where the circle design was. So that's just another cool way of making your own kind of stencil. And I mean, you could do this with any dies that you have, but usually you only have one circle. And you'd have to cut it however many times to get all the circles all over. But the thing I love about these little circle tiles, you could create a whole piece with 40 different circles in it, and you're just having to run it through your machine once, and then you have all of those letters and numbers afterwards. So that's why I'm sort of telling you about this kind of idea. I know it's kind of an obvious sort of idea, but it makes it so much easier having 40 of the same sized circle die, really. And then this card is where I've done that kind of actual Scrabble sort of a look that I just did Love You, because I thought that was an easy sentiment to put onto a card, and I've used a few Scribble Hearts dies in the background as well. And for this one I added some glacier paste behind the letters. I did the red one and the pink one. What are their names? Hot Red and Mambo Melon, and I just put it onto a piece of card and then place them behind, and I did it so these four have got red on them, and these have got the pink behind them to go with the background as well. You could have reversed that though if you wanted to, but I think that one turned out really nicely. And obviously like if you think about it more, you can add in other names and stuff to this. Like you could do their first and second name if they've got a reasonably short name, or you could do words that relate to them, or you know, all sorts of different things you can do. And then you could make this on a bigger scale and put it in a frame as a gift for somebody as well. And then finally, the last one I kept black and white because I thought it would be really effective black and white, and I just loved the question mark. So I took the question mark from both of the sets, just cut them from black, and then I kept the interior question mark as well, and then I just scattered them across the background using a mixture of the circle and the square, and having the different question marks placed back in as well. And then for the sentiment, I just thought it'd be funny to do how old, because it's covered in question marks. So I thought that's quite a neat kind of card to give somebody who doesn't like to reveal their age as well. But yeah, I just thought that was another idea. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this up-close video looking at the brand new alphabet tiles and alphabet typewriter dies from Tonic. I think you'll probably be seeing these popping up quite a bit in some of my card making videos, because I've really enjoyed working with them, and I've always loved Scrabble tiles and typewriters. So these two sets are kind of like a win-win for me. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope maybe these gave you some kind of ideas of ways you could use these kind of dies, or maybe you could adapt some of these ideas to use something that you've already got as well. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next one. Stay safe. Bye.